and they say tech is the new gold mine. Everybody wants in on it. But is it really as lucrative as everyone says it is? Is it so easy to cash out on tech? Here on Straight to the Point, we are going to be finding out. And you must have heard of UI, UX, data analysis, programming, and the whole gamut. And they say this is the new gold mine. This is where you cash out. A lot of people are switching careers into tech in hopes of making it. But how easy is it to make it in tech? Or like some people will say, is that a new disguise for Yahoo? I don't know. We'll find out. I have some people right here in the studio to have a great conversation about this. But do me a favor, click on the subscribe button because there's a whole lot to find out here on Straight to the Point. And don't forget the notification button because you know now, we always bring you what's right and what's up. So welcome to the studio. These two amazing guys who are tech bros. Salim, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And Mubarak, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Interesting. So I was just having a conversation with these guys to find out what it is they studied in school and how they found themselves in tech. So were you guys originally in tech? Let me ask you, what did you study, Salim?
So I studied engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, and I went on to study marketing management. So these two things are totally unrelated to what I do now. However, one thing that it brought about was the ability to be able to think. So I think that is what the whole schooling system does, not necessarily teach you how to go into whatever you want to go to.
Yeah. Mubarak, what did you study?
So I studied computer engineering.
That should be tech, right?
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
No.
No.
It's not.
In Nigerian context or in general?
In my context, it's not tech.
Okay.
Right? Because I heard they switched up the syllabus. So probably the next set of graduates from my department would probably be in tech somewhat, but I was not in tech.
I'm sorry, but how is computer engineering, right?
Yeah.
How is it not tech?
So I did more of math, theory, never really got into the lab much, but I hear all that has changed now.
Amen. So how did you transition into tech?
So it was during Corona. I was just about to go for NYC and I heard about this program and mom said, I think you should take this program. I said, okay, why not? Since I have the time to spare. And lo and behold, here I am.
I'm really interested in your transitions because for a lot of people, I see people transitioning and I think I'm a little scared of that because the idea is you finish school now, you're supposed to go and be making money. So why am I going back to school to learn something completely different from what it is that I have studied? So how easy is it to transition, starting with you that did marketing?
Okay. So the thing, I think first of all, the misconception people have is that after school, you stop learning.
Okay.
I think that is the difference in the tech world. In the tech world, you literally never stop learning. Because even if you say you want to go into data analytics, for example, you go into data analytics, and the next month you are telling you have to learn this software again, you have to learn this language, you have to learn that, so it never stops. So if you're somebody that feels like learning will be such a burden to you, then I think tech is not the field for you. But if you have this zeal to want to always learn, to want to always study, then I think it is the right field for you. For me, I started out after engineering. I was like, I do not know what I just did for 4 years. I don't know what is happening. I want to have nothing. I am scared of electricity. I'm scared of touching a boiling kettle.
So why did you do engineering?
Well, we're Africans. And you know how the African parents are. If you're not a doctor, you're an engineer.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Or a lawyer.
Or a lawyer. And so because I went through the whole studying science in high school. So they were like, okay, why don't you become an engineer or a doctor? I was like, okay, I don't want blood. I'm scared of blood. So maybe engineering will be good. I don't think I did so bad in engineering, but after the engineering, I wanted something that is so flexible. I could, express my creativity. And I chose data analytics. After my engineering school, I closed my certificate, kept it one place. I ran to business department because I felt like when I was in engineering, I saw the engineering. First of all, there were only 2 girls in my department, and that was like, okay, it was all guys. And I looked at the people in the other departments like business, economics. They were having fun, so enjoying university. I was like, okay, yes. After engineering, I ran to the business department to learn. And whilst I was there, I found out, okay, well, you could carry out marketing research, you could use numbers from engineering to proper solutions. And I was like, okay, yes, this is what I want to do.
And that was why we went into data.
And that was why I went into data analytics, something that didn't require me to, code too much, which is the misconception with going into tech. Everyone thinks you have to learn how to code.
I was going to come into that. But it's amazing that you brought it. Let's talk about transitions before we talk deep into it, because there's just a lot of ambiguity when it comes to tech and transitioning into tech and making money off tech, because that's what we're going to learn. But I would like to understand, how you actually function in tech to make the money now. How did you transition? Since you said computer engineering is not tech.
Okay, so it's not tech, yeah, but I did have like excerpts, like bits, and we did get like an introduction into it. But I mean, you can't do something for 2 hours a week and call
you say
it
that's
tech.
I understand.
No, and that was just one semester. So on my own time, I did do some, digging into Photoshop and design to see what that was like. Just messing around, and we got introduced to some languages that nobody uses right now. So that was also an eye opener. So when I was about to transition, or when I got the opportunity and I had the options, it was quite easy for me to say, okay, I've tried this out. It didn't really work for me. That was programming, of course. I think I'm just going to do design and then see how that goes from there.
Okay, so what are the categories of, would I say, jobs or fields that you would classify as tech? I mean, you're into data analytics, you're into design, but what are all the things we would classify as tech? Because I hear a lot of things. I say, that one is tech too. What are some of those? I know there's programming. That one is a large field.
Of course, that's like the forefront of tech.
But would you call content creation tech too?
Okay, so what I think is this. In the whole value chain of this, to creating a business or going into any particular field in this 21st century, it has a lot of things involved. There is the content creators, there is the social media managers, there is the data analysts, there is the UI UX guys, cybersecurity people. So in the whole value chain, I feel like at every point, there's always somebody that needs to be there. There's always that field that needs to come up. And at whichever point on that value chain, that's tech.
Ooh.
Whichever point of that value chain, that's
So what's
tech.
the tech in what we're doing here now?
I mean, we're making use of cameras, lighting, all these things require skills, technicalities.
I mean, we're talking about tech.
Exactly. We're creating content about tech.
Yes.
Tech content. Tech as well. So it's amazing how encompassing all of this is.
Yeah, exactly.
And how, every day it is without us realizing how every day it is. Before we go into making money, please define tech bro for me. Who is a tech bro or tech or women in tech? Okay, who's a tech bro?
Women in tech, women that do tech. So mostly it has been, I don't know, I feel like it has been really streamlined to be just people that program or do data analytics and UI design or UX design, whatever it is. Like the mainstream, like the key areas in tech, right? I don't feel like other areas get that much recognition. So if you're in maybe tech content creation, I don't think you'll be considered as the tech bro or a woman in tech or something like that.
My dear, if I fix my bulb, I'm a woman in tech, bro. If I'm a woman in tech, he just said everything is tech. Okay, everything is tech. So let's talk about transitioning, right? Still, how do you do that? Is it that you go to a specific school? You go through a whole school system? Or how does that? Just break it down for people who probably are considering, okay, maybe let's do this tech thing. Because I always thought that you will have to do the whole school thing. And in spite of the fact that I speak plenty English, I don't like school. I like learning. I just don't like institutionalized learning.
Yes. I think that is what the definition of education now has really changed. Back in the day, you have to go through the whole schooling system, go to university for 4 years, come out, get a job. But in this day and age of technology we're in, you could literally go to a boot camp of 6 months, get an entry level job in whichever tech field, and you could rise from there.
How many
So,
months, how many years, how long could this take?
well, the speed at which people learn it varies. So if you feel like you can learn something for 10 years, go ahead, go start the journey. But other people could start to learn a skill, the basics of a skill for 6 months, and then pick it up from there and start to develop. And for me, that was what I did. I took courses totally out of the university. I would want to say I am self-taught, but because I went through boot camps, taking courses, I was able to transition easily, and it really showed me the main thing required in the industry. However, what schools and university teach are very theoretical and not practical per se. So that is the difference with.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out the disconnect between tech and what we do, at least here in Nigeria. At least let's talk about the Nigerian education system that we know. And I should also direct that to you because I'm not saying you're fresh out of school, but I'm saying, okay. So, but seriously, because you were saying computer engineering wasn't really tech.
For me.
For you, what was missing?
I mean, a lot of the practical stuff were missing. Like, I spent a lot of time doing other things that were not really related to my field, instead of doing what I actually needed to be doing, like, studying, the programming languages, the ones that were like in demand to actually have an idea to say, okay, maybe I can build up from there, right? I didn't have that, right? But it's different now, like I said.
In hindsight, do you think you would have gone straight to learn what you are working with right now and just skipped uni?
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh.
Because when when I went to the company I work with during my NYSC, my posting, when I got there, the GMD asked me what I studied, and I told him computer engineering. And then he asked me what I did for my final year project. I told him, and then he said, "What can you do?" And I told him, "Okay, I did a course in design, and I'm able to do this." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. I think we have somewhere to place you with that." That was it. And since then, I have not turned back to look at my engineering degree.
so really, you may not have just needed that degree in the first place, and you could have just thrived as well.
Yes, that's-
You seem to.
I think
concur.
I think otherwise.
Oh, wow.
I think otherwise.
Okay.
I think school no be scam, as they say, right?
Okay.
And what I think about that is that the schooling system teaches you how to think critically. It teaches you, although it shows you a line of how to think, but that line is so solid that it wants you to think this way, this way, this way, this way. And if you could apply it, that way of thinking in anything, you would prosper. However, I also want to slightly agree with him also, in the sense that now, if the definition of someone that is illiterate is the ability to read, write, and comprehend. So if you could literally read, write, and comprehend, you could transition into tech easily. So me, if I have children in future,
When you have
immediately-
children in future.
when I have children
When you
in
have
future,
children in future.
I'll give them the option, honestly, after the high school. I think anything after the high school is unnecessary to me in this day and age. I'll give them the ability to choose, hey, do you want to further your education in the university? If yes, okay, fine. If no, what can you do? What skills are you able to build? I think that's really important. Except, of course, if you want to be a medical doctor, you cannot go and learn it or any other place.
I agree with what you said, because for me, I've always been kind of like a free spirit. So I've tried a lot of things. I was into art at one point, into music at another point. But I knew I always loved math, being the reason why I studied engineering, right? So if I had the option to, focus all of your energy and your free spirits and your creativity and do one of these things, I think I would have, really gone farther than where
I hear this a lot. I'm hearing a lot of this in terms of the sentiment that young people who went to universities, colleges, now they're saying like, did I really just waste 4 years, 6 years? Because everything I learned for these years, I could Google.
Yes, exactly.
I could just Google it
Exactly.
and move on with my life. I mean, why did I do all of that? Still in the Nigerian schooling system, I mean, I like the fact that you said school no be scam, because we can't be encouraging people not to go to school. But then, I already told you I don't like institutionalized learning. So can we really say that in today's day and age, if I should use that, that the whole institution of school is obsolete because now everybody seems to be doing everything on Google. I'll give you an example. My daughter learned how to knit from YouTube. Everything you ask my daughter, and she's 12 years old, everything you ask her to do, she goes to YouTube. And she does it. And some of these things I paid good money in school to learn. So are we getting to that point where institutionalized learning may not be necessary?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Right. So I started out design. I started out in design as a UI designer. Like I did the boot camp 6 months. Right. After 6 months, I was a designer. I could design, software apps, and I was really proud of myself. But then I learned that you can't really go with one field in design. You have to learn other areas to, really part of what you know and, become a more robust designer. You can work, you just have range basically, right? So I started out in graphic design. That's a whole other field entirely, but the basics were the same. So it was easy to pick up skills in this other field. Everything I learned in graphic design, I didn't go to a boot camp for it. I learned on YouTube and I taught myself. So thanks to the Indian and the American instructor. So thanks to them, I picked up graphic design skills and photo editing skills and, maybe a little bit of video editing skills as well.
So you're literally saying if you have a good phone, not even laptop, if you have a good phone and data,
Yes.
that's all you need.
Yes.
To transition.
Yes.
Wow.
I always tell my friends, you could literally learn how to operate the brain online. You literally do not need to go to school. I think our education system, the entire Nigerian curriculum is obsolete. I mean, it doesn't tackle 21st century problems.
Exactly.
They are still teaching us how to knit, how to do this. When you see Chinese kids, Japanese kids, they know how to build robots in primary schools and so it's obsolete. So, I mean, if it's in that case, why am I wasting 4 years of my child's life going to university when I could literally take them to a technical institution where they could learn skills, take them to boot camps where they could learn skills and make good use of their brains whilst it's still fresh.
It's still fresh and still hot.
Going
Because, it's amazing that you said make use of your brain while it's still fresh, because I'm seeing a lot of people in my age bracket. I'm not telling you how old I am. I'm seeing people in my age bracket really trying to transition into this. And that brain still being fresh is necessary for learning. I know learning, you can learn at any age, but I did a lot of certain certifications recently, and there were moments I'll just cry. Because it wasn't entering.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't entering. So it does really make sense for children to actually, at least when your brain is still fresh, whether you're a child or a young adult, to go straight into that which you can create a passion for. Okay, so we're going to go into the second part of this, but I would like to ask you, in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic,
Okay.
10 being absolutely worth it, and 1 being really a waste of my life. Tech as a solution in terms of cashing out. Scheme 1 to 10. Ooh.
Maybe like an 8.
Oh, okay.
8.
8
because it's not as instant as people think it is. This is not Nollywood where you go to Lagos and after 2 years you're cashing out and going back to the village. No, it's not like that.
It's not after 2 years you're cashing out.
You would do the grunt
go
work.
back. Wait. It's not after 2 years you cash out.
If you're lucky, people have been lucky to find internships and just find a mentor to learn from and then skill from there. People have been that lucky. Not me. That's not my story. That's not the story for a lot of people.
How long did it take you? Are you still in the process?
Yeah, I'm still in the process.
And this is 4 years
You never stop
post-COVID.
learning.
Yeah, I'm still in the process.
There's always something new. The industry, the landscape is always changing.
It's always changing.
There are always new technologies coming up every day. For example, this morning he was telling me about Premiere Pro, about an editing software. He said he has the Premiere Pro of 2 years ago because he doesn't think his laptop can handle the one of this 24. In the next 2 years, more are still coming up. New technologies technology is evolving. New things are coming up. So you have to keep on learning. If you ever think that you want to go into tech and just learn one thing and then stop, I think that field is not for you.
It's not just possible.
It's a trap. You've sentenced yourself to lifelong learning and it never ends.
Oh, goodness gracious. So a scale of 1 to 10 for you?
I would say 6. Yes. Why I say 6 is this. I think when people say tech, they always think of technical stuff like doing programming, coding, like I said earlier. However, I think there's a small part people are missing out, the part of creativity. So you know how to code, you know how to build a website, but then what problem can it solve? I think in that small place, that small niche of problem solving and preferring solution is where the money is, not necessarily your skills. So you could be the best programmer in the world, but I mean, how many websites can you make in a year? You could make just one website and you get paid for it, and then what next? So you have to provide solution. You have to be able to think beyond just your technical abilities. And so if you're relying solely on your technical abilities, I'll say 6. If you want to mix it with the creative part, I'll say the sky is your stepping stone.
But that's
As to how
another
much
thing
you
with
can
tech,
earn.
though. You can get. Let me say you can't get too creative. It's not art, right?
okay.
The thing you're trying to solve a problem, right? So what's the point of having a cup or a mug that has 2 handles? That's creative, but that's not functional. It has to be functional as well.
Okay.
So you can't get too creative with tech. So that's one thing we learn as designers. You can't get too creative. Yes, it's good to be innovative and creative, right? Take from here and there and then bring together and bring up something new, but
You really have
has
to
to be
find that
functional.
balance between functionality and creativity and economics as well.
Economics,
because
business,
economics,
yeah, yes,
the
yes.
business side of it.
Yes.
Because if you're going to invest millions to create something that is creative but is not making money at the end of the day, I mean,
What's the need of it? I mean, if you say you want to keep on making website, I want to build website, I want to be a data analyst, solve this one, and without the business side of it, it's 6. I think 6 is it's reaching too far.
we're going into the business side of it in the next few minutes. But right now, we want you to go to the comment section of this video and give us your idea or what you think the ease at which you can transition to tech. I mean, do you want to transition to tech? Do you think you can make money in tech? And which aspect of tech have you been looking at? Because of course, I know you're paying attention to all of that, especially all these jackpot people telling you that tech is the best way to jackpot. So what's that particular field in tech that is really tickling your fancy? And maybe if you have questions for our experts on how to transition, please put that question on the comment section and they will answer. Abi?
definitely.
All right. You're still here on Straight to the Point. Do not forget to subscribe. Oh, come on. You like us, don't you? Subscribe and put on the notification button. How easy is it to make it in tech? Or like some people will say, is that a new disguise for Yahoo?
Is Yahoo technical?
You can see someone going with the laptop now and you think, oh, you don't know if this person is a tech bro or a Yahoo boy.
These days, even in cybersecurity, you have to first learn how to hack before you now learn how to prevent the hacking.
I think it's just a lack of awareness, really.
Yahoo breaks trust. It's still tech.